Guys aren't just poaching and keeping rhino horns under their beds. The syndicates come in and they say, if you have this product, we can pay you tomorrow. It becomes quite low risk for them to do something and to get paid. There's no safe nights. There's lots going on in the area. There's not just rhino poaching, there's people smuggling, cigarette smuggling, there's farm invasions, and the plane helps all sectors of conservation and just protecting South Africa basically. We're quite close to two borders here, so it's Zimbabwe and Botswana and South Africa.
India Zulu Romeo Bathhawk, we'll be airborne in the next 2 minutes. We are staying in the area, staying under 5,000 feet. India Zulu Romeo. Okay, revs are good. Speed is alive. We are up.
I've been working with rhinos since 2010. In 2020, I got the opportunity to fly full-time doing anti-poaching from the sky, which is a whole different ball game. And yeah, my goal is to fly for free for rhino owners. So one of the nice things about the Bathhawk is it's a bush plane. So, you know, I can get in and out of places like very easily. I can pick up ranges. We can fly very low. We can also fly very slowly. And you can see we have like a 180-degree view. So we don't just have a little windscreen at the front. We can really see what's going on. Mostly we do preventative stuff. So it's very high visibility. It's got anti-poaching under the wings. So people on the ground can see what we're doing. I have done aerial patrols where there have been active poachers. The poachers use things like fire to distract the people on the ground. So they'll set a fire in one area while they're poaching rhinos in another area. So I can sort of confirm all that from the air. Yes, it's a fire that people have lit. There are guys there, but I've also seen guys there. And then obviously to get a head count and just make sure everybody's alive and made it through the night. It's a really nice feeling to be able to give them peace of mind, to answer a call and to be able to go and help someone and say, I've seen all your rhinos, they're all alive, there's no carcasses. The rangers can go to sleep and know that everybody's safe.
I mean, the one time we had to dart one of the rhinos quite urgently, and we couldn't get a chopper in time. But we still have to check the surrounding areas and just get a visual on him before we scout the whole property and not find him. And Michelle was available. And she came out and we found him and we darted, done. It saved us so much time, so much effort, and it made the process smooth on the actual rhino. It makes life easier and safer for them. If we get an alert, hang on, there's something here, or if we notice tracks, anything, one call away, we've got air support. And that covers so much more ground and can just see if there's something on the tar road and do a quick count. It's such a value added thing. And honestly, it's incredible to have. How we protect the rhinos is a multitude of methods. One of the things that we use is general patrols with the anti-poaching unit. The other is the canine unit. Our canine tracks and detains if necessary. The other aspect is we use satellite collars and radio frequency collars. It's those two collars that the rhinos wear. The VHS works with radio frequencies, and we use a machine called telemetry.
You hold up the aerial and you have your little machine. So that's how you usually work with it.
Got the telemetry strapped to the side of the plane. Because the plane's aluminium, it actually ends up turning into a giant aerial. So for mountainous regions like this, if you're standing on the ground, there's like a lot of convoluted areas where you won't get a signal for your animal. So especially with like small animals that like live in the rocks and stuff like pangolin, this is just such an easy way to get a fix on them, and then you can go on the ground and, you know, have a nice starting point. So not all the animals have a satellite tag. And we've had one pangolin who in 1 month walked 100 kilometers. So just because they were there yesterday doesn't mean you're going to find them there like in a day or two. So this really just cut down like all the guesswork.
The satellite collars, however, they send an alert and a location to us. So shortly before we came out, we checked this app called Earth Ranger where we get all these updates. and it said, okay, they're more or less in this area. They were here at least an hour, 2 hours, some of them a while ago, and we can set the frequency of how often they update. Sometimes we prefer less, sometimes we prefer more if it's a high risk time.
Collaring rhino is critical. It's one of the many tools in our toolbox. This ensures that we know where the rhino are and that those in vulnerable positions can be protected.
It's a massive team effort to keep these animals safe, and this is one component of the protection side of things. The purpose of the procedure is to fit a Rixel collar, and then while he's down we'll be doing vitamin injections, bloods, ticks, dung samples. It gives us real-time monitoring in a sense. It's monitoring behavior literally minute by minute. So if there's a behavioral change, then Natalie will be notified that this rhino is behaving abnormally. It sends her 3 degrees of alerts, sort of a traffic light system, red being critical alert. Before this technology, it would take us 12 hours, 24 hours, some reserves, weeks, even months to know that there's been a poach. So the quicker we can realize there might be a problem, the quicker we can verify if there is a problem and then establish a response. If you have a response, so you get a red alert and it's a genuine poaching incident, collar does nothing to catch a poacher. The point is putting collars on rhinos if you don't have a reaction team, you don't have a verification team, and they've got to deploy, work out where that poacher is by heading to. Collar doesn't tell you that either.
Are you ready?
My main goal is to be as useful as possible to the ground teams. I do various different things on my patrols. I fly the fence lines and I also fly the areas that are more difficult to get to by vehicle for our ground team to ensure that there's nothing suspicious going on.
And then one of the other things is obviously the national road, kind of checking if there's any suspicious behavior. Same thing with the visual presence so that people are aware that there is surveillance from the air.
Flying is my passion, and being able to combine that with conservation and helping the anti-poaching teams on the ground to make their lives maybe a little bit easier or assist in creating a bigger impact.
If you're protecting rhinos in their natural habitat is protected. So you're actually helping everybody. It gives me hope to work in an area where all the rhino owners are working together and will do anything for each other and for their rhinos. That's really hopeful, to stand together, and really I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of that community. Collaboration is really the only way forward. Nobody can do it on their own.